What's up, YouTube? My name is Bigboysnacksjonnytv, aka what kind of snacks you want, because I got plenty to go around. As you can tell by the title of the thumbnail in the video, this is my WWE Smackdown review and highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning or towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more rest of the content I do on the channel. Give this video 30 likes so it goes out to the YouTube algorithm. Follow my social media down below in the description. And go check out my AEW Dynamite review and highlights. And go check out my WWE NXT review and highlights. And also go check out my WWE 2026 Elimination Chamber preview and prediction video. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, WWE Smackdown was a solid show for what it was, and I give this show a 6.5 out of 10. WWE Smackdown was live from Louisville, Kentucky, KFC Yum Center. WWE then now forever together. We opened with the tail end of the ongoing emergency involvement what WWE Superstar is all a bit confusing until the conversation reveals that Jey Uso was attacked, with Jacob Fatu riding with him to leave as we cut to ringside. Who attacked Jey Uso? Some people say it was Royce Keys, but how we know it was Royce Keys? But I guess we have to find out and see. Alright. Drew McIntyre says 4 letters, 1 word, Drew. That was corny. Before claiming his innocence as he walks down towards the ringside, he continues talking smack as he enters the ring, but is quickly interrupted by Nick Aldis. The GM of SmackDown tells the champ to leave because he's got 20 guys ready to go after Drew McIntyre, and he's about to get them. Drew McIntyre talks about scouting competition as six. He means 5 men are gunning for a title shot at his title. One such man makes a beeline before the ring as Cody Rhodes rushes down the ramp, but Drew McIntyre makes a break for it as he escapes through the crowd. Cody Rhodes runs Drew McIntyre down, saying he spent his whole life title reign running like a little you know what. But when Jade Cargill says the B word, her word doesn't cut off, but when Cody Rhodes says it, his word cuts up. Let me continue. He talks about winning the chamber match tomorrow, which is he will, but it's cut off by the arrival of Randy Orton. Randy Orton has his own thought on who is going to win the match tomorrow as he heads to the ring, but he is the one cut off as Trick Williams makes his entrance. Whoop that Trick chant as the former TNA World Champion talks about being the hottest thing in the business today. You feel me? And refers to Bruno Mars and how he wants the cha-cha to the chamber. Let's talk about it. Since we in the KFC Center, he wants to add something to the menu. He seems to be referring to his shoes, but Javon Evans makes his way out as he wants to talk crazy. Namely, he wants to win the Elimination Chamber and become the youngest world champion so he can beat Randy Orton's record. Now, Javon Evans is going to get his highlight moment at the Elimination Chamber tomorrow. I can definitely see that. LA Knight makes his entrance next, rounding out the 5 men not on their way to the local medical facility as LA Knight gets into the ring. He runs down the rest of the field before saying they all belong to the man they can call the superstar, and that means the title is coming to him, with everybody saying whoop that Trick, says Trick Williams. LA Knight asks if he just said whoop that Trick, to which Trick Williams says yeah, and LA Knight says okay before whooping that Trick out the ring and up the ramp. Randy Orton sees an opening and takes Javon Evans out with an RKO before staring down Cody. That was a good segment to kick off SmackDown. We had backstage to hear from Tiffany Stratton ahead of Elimination Chamber, but she is cut off by the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka asks Tiffany time is over and no one is ready for Asuka. Tiffany claims she is, but Asuka eventually relents and backs off. Kairi Sane stares Tiffany Stratton down before being called away by the Empress of Tomorrow. Bit of crazy start to SmackDown tonight. Even with the slightly tropical the competitors get their catchphrases, nature of the in-ring section. Speaking of that, roughly what the Tiffy / Asuka segment but that almost to be expected at this point. LOL. That backstage segment was terrible. The biggest part of that opener, of course, is the question of whether Jey Uso will be good to go for tomorrow night after being attacked backstage. If I was a betting man, I'll say there's an outside chance of it, but we shall see. We shall see. We had two superstar arrival for the night, while commentary runs down the lineup for tonight's show, including a focus on Over Family taking on The Miz. Back at ringside, Solo makes his entrance holding on to the Rise 6 ladder as he heads to the ring for our opening match. He takes on Uncle Howdy up next, and we get a tease of the Rise 6 to take us to a commercial break. Back from ringside, we get a look back at last week's and the message Uncle Howdy delivered to the MFT ahead of tonight's match. The lights cut out sans fireflies for the entrance of Uncle Howdy, who makes good on his promise to come along. He heads down the ramp and enters the ring to get this match underway. Solo Sikoa versus Uncle Howdy. I might as well say this was a good back and forth match. The pair stare each other down. The anonymously brewing as Solo Sikoa points to ladder while mocking Uncle Howdy. They lock up and Solo gets into the corner before the referee intervenes for a break. Solo goes back on the attack, but is seemingly nervous after a turn from Uncle Howdy. They lock up again, and Sikoa gets a side headlock, but Uncle Howdy sends him into the rope. Shoulder tackle proves unsuccessful before they trade strikes, and Uncle Howdy sets Solo Sikoa up for a Sister Abigail, but Solo Sikoa breaks free, leaving the ring for a breather. Uncle Howdy falls and takes a strike from Solo Sikoa, but he dodges a spike to slam Solo Sikoa's arm against the ring post before sending him into the timekeeper's area. Uncle Howdy stares at the ladder for a moment, focusing on it before turning his attention back to Solo Sikoa. He continues the attack before bringing Solo back into the ring, and Solo Sikoa responds in a kind with some strikes before sending him out of the ring to take us to picture-in-picture. We're back from picture-in-picture. Solo Sikoa continues to lay into Uncle Howdy before taunting him by grabbing the ladder from where it was placed. He decides not to go any further, setting it back down as Uncle Howdy gets back in the ring. Solo Sikoa slides in the ring himself, cutting off any momentum. Uncle Howdy looks to gain before laying in some headbutts. He locks in a nerve hold on Uncle Howdy, who is struggling to break free as he finally gets to his feet and manages to break the hold, except that Solo quickly locks it back in, keeping Uncle Howdy grounded. Uncle Howdy fights back to his feet for a jawbreaker, but Solo Sikoa locks the hold back in as well as we come back from the commercial break. So where Uncle Howdy gets taken to the mat with a Samoan drop, allowing for a near fall. Solo Sikoa looks to take Uncle Howdy back to their whole city, but Uncle Howdy takes a detour as he fights back to his feet to send Solo Sikoa to the corner. He's back off for speed, but runs into a spinning Solo slam, and Solo Sikoa follows with a splash from the top for a close 2 count. Solo brings Uncle Howdy back up as he looks for a Sister Abigail, but Uncle Howdy counters with a mandible claw. It doesn't last long as Solo counters with a small spike, forcing Uncle Howdy to the corner for a couple of hip attacks. Only on the third attempt, Uncle Howdy jumps up and lands a Sister Abigail to take Solo Sikoa down for the win. The winner by pinfall, Uncle Howdy. This was a good match for what it was. Uncle Howdy leaves the ring to retrieve his lantern, but is blindsided by the MFT, who quickly takes it back as they escape through the crowd. Long night at the office in terms of in-ring action tonight, but I'm always happy to see Uncle Howdy in action. Solo Sikoa sure has a mean nerve hole, doesn't he? Uncle Howdy picks up the win, but the MFT runs off with his ladder. This feud must continue. Backstage, Drew McIntyre is escorted out to the parking lot as he is told to stay home tomorrow and stay out of trouble. Nick Aldis is then confronted by the Vision, who tried to get Logan Paul into the Men's Elimination Chamber match tomorrow. Logan Paul talks about how much he can easily win the match and become the champion, and Nick Aldis eventually relents enough to consider it, citing politics at play as he walks off. Logan Paul is not going to win the Elimination Chamber tomorrow. I repeat, Logan Paul is not going to win the Elimination Chamber match tomorrow. You know who's going to win it? Cody Rhodes. It's going to win to an Elimination Chamber match. You might as well just make it a triple threat match. Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Make that a triple threat match. Alright, Paul Heyman confirms with Logan Paul that he knows he can win the Chamber match, and the Maverick walks off before Logan Paul tells Austin Theory to keep his attitude in check before we go to break. So Austin Theory does not like Logan Paul. That's all I gotta say. The thought of Logan Paul being in the Elimination Chamber match tomorrow has me eagerly making sure I'm doing literally anything else that night. But if you give me, I don't know, Logan Paul versus Austin Theory for the final spot, I think I can tolerate that tonight, at least. LOL. Commercial break. Progressive gives us a look at the rise of Rhea ahead of their women's tag team championship match against the Irresistible Force tonight. Speaking of, we hear from the champs backstage as Rhea address having this match tonight before going into the Women's Elimination Chamber tomorrow. Rhea assures us that she is focused on both tags, with Io Sky cheering Rhea Ripley on for tomorrow. This is interrupted by Jericho Gill, who tells Rhea Ripley she needs to focus on tomorrow and hopes she doesn't get hurt tonight. Elsewhere, Nick Aldis gets an update on Jey Uso by the way of Jacob Fatu, who then asserts his claim to be considered for the Chamber match tomorrow. Nick Aldis says he'll keep that in mind as we head back to ringside for our next match. Tiffany Stratton makes her interest first, and we get confirmation that she is facing Asuka up next, ahead of both women entering the Elimination Chamber. Tiffany Stratton is facing Kairi Sane, so that's all I gotta say. Commercial break. Video package. Damian Priest talks about how much NXT prepared him for success in WWE. NXT stand delivered head to St. Louis on April 4th. Back at ringside, Chelsea Green is wheeled out to ringside by Our Fire as Jelly Roll gets some props over his magazine cover. Asuka makes her entrance alongside Kairi Sane, and she has a microphone and she talks about how smart she is by revealing that she is resting for the Elimination Chamber tomorrow. Inside, Tiffany Stratton would face Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane enters the ring to get this match on the way. So we get Tiffany Stratton versus Kairi Sane. This was a decent match, what it was. Tiffany Stratton quickly takes the fight to Kairi Sane, sending her out of the ring before bringing Kairi Sane back in the ring. Kairi Sane fights back, keeping Tiffany Stratton off her game before Tiffany Stratton sends her back into the outside. But Asuka distracts her getting back into the ring, allowing Kairi Sane to take control as we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Tiffany Stratton is back in control until she sends Kairi Sane to the corner, where Kairi Sane takes her down to the mat. Tiffany Stratton fights back for another Alabama slam, but Kairi Sane counters only to take a boot to the face, sending her back to the canvas for a 2 count. Kairi Sane managed to get back into it, sending Tiffany Stratton to the floor with a DDT from the apron. She brings the former champ back into the ring, going up top, but only taking a 2 count. She goes up top for a insane elbow, but is shoved to the outside, sending to a confrontation between Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green before Kairi Sane goes for a meteor off the apron, only to get the drop on Chelsea Green. Tiffany Stratton brings Kairi Sane back into the ring for a prettiest moonsault ever and the win. The winner by pinfall, Tiffany Stratton. This was a decent match between Tiffany Stratton and Kairi Sane. We had backstage where the Vision awaits an answer from Nick Aldis. He has some good news after conferring with Nick Aldis. Conferring with Adam Pearce, and Logan Paul will get an opportunity to compete in the men's elimination chamber match tomorrow. Paul Heyman quickly asks what's the catch is, and Nick Aldis revealed that Logan Paul will face Jacob Fatu tonight to see who enters that match. Logan Paul talks about selling the world's most expensive Pokemon card and marry the world's most beautiful supermodel so he can beat WWE. Most dangerous werewolf. With that, we head back to ringside as The Miz makes his entrance to face Open Family, and that match is up next. Commercial break. As we get hype package for tomorrow's night, you can just about hear Miz cutting a promo, and that is hilarious to me. Anyway, we're back at ringside as Open Family makes his way out to a big pop from the crowd before this match gets underway. Alright, so we get the next match. The Ruler and Destroyer, Open Family versus The Miz. The Miz talks too much. So this match right here, I might as well say this match was a solid match for what it was. Open Family chants as Miz escapes the ring for the microphone, saying they don't have to fight, but Open Family steals the mic, telling The Miz to get one of his own. He obliges, saying this is a classic misunderstanding. As the locker room leader, he tries to set things straight. He talks about being a bright-eyed rookie like Open Family, but Miz is interrupted by Open Family chants. He tells them to stop, as he says he didn't go after the locker room leaders. He wants to guide Open Family. He wants to be his Undertaker. Open Family responds by saying there is no passing resemblance, but The Miz does look like a dead man to him. That part was funny by Open Family. The Miz wants to help him out, guide him, so the crowd is forever chanting his name, but Open Family points out that he doesn't need The Miz's help with that. He does a survey of the crowd who disapprove of him getting under The Miz's wing, and he tells Miz that he's dying tonight. The Miz says he can make this a teaching moment about being the bigger man, and walks away. Open Family is having none of that, making a quick work of the former WWE champion before sending him into the corner. Miz dodged a second corner attack, looking for a Skull Culture finale, but Open Family blocks it, holding him up to send him crashing to the mat. He follows with the fall from grace to pick up the win. The winner by pinfall, Open Family. Can you just sign Open Family to Monday Night Raw, please? And that's all I gotta say. Open Family celebrates the win as we cut backstage. Carmelo Hayes is confused by Ilya Dragunov not dressing to compete, but Dragunov says he hasn't been doing very well, so he doesn't deserve the shot. He wishes Carmelo Hayes all the best of luck, and Carmelo Hayes tells him if he doesn't take this shot soon, someone else will. Back at ringside, Carmelo Hayes makes his entrance to ensure the open challenge for his United States Championship, and that match is up next. So we go to commercial break. We head back to ringside as Matt Cardona proves he's always ready by coming down to answer the open challenge, and this match gets underway. So we get the United States Championship Open Challenge. Carmelo Hayes defense against Matt Cardona. This was a very good match for what it was. They go to lock up, but Matt Cardona surprised the champ with a roll up for a 2 count. Carmelo Hayes back to his feet, taking the challenger down in the kind of a near fall as well. Matt Cardona gets sent to the ropes, but takes the champ with the shoulder tackle before catching him with a dropkick the second time around. Side headlock by the challenger, who stops Carmelo Hayes from sending him to the ropes at first. Carmelo Hayes finally breaks free, landing a dropkick on the challenger, who blocks the second attempt for a DDT and a near fall. The fight ends up on the apron where Carmelo Hayes takes Matt Cardona to the floor, but ends up falling onto the announcer desk when the challenger evades him, heading into picture-in-picture. Back from picture-in-picture, Matt Cardona brings the champ back into the ring, counting continuing the attack as he starts mocking Carmelo Hayes. He doesn't let up on Melo as he lands some hard strikes, keeping the champ grounded as Carmelo Hayes heads to the corner, only to take a knee to the face as we return from break. Matt Cardona sends the champ to the outside before hitting a dive sending Carmelo Hayes against the barricade. He brings Carmelo Hayes back into the ring, and the champ finally gets a chance to bounce back, and he hits a springboard leg drop, taking Matt Cardona down hard. Both men back to their feet as they trade strikes, and Carmelo Hayes ducks a clothesline to take the challenger down to the mat. The Mistaka connects, but only good for a 2 count for Carmelo Hayes. The first 48 is blocked, and a double underhook powerbomb from Matt Cardona gets him a near fall. Carmelo Hayes scrambles to the corner where Matt Cardona goes for a boot, but the champ nearly dodges to land a dropkick. He goes up top, but Matt Cardona intercepts him for a hurricanrana. Carmelo Hayes dodges a Rough Rider and gets a near fall of his efforts. Champ goes up top, but Matt Cardona dodges him, hitting a Rough Rider, but it's only good for a 2 as Carmelo Hayes kicks out. Carmelo Hayes gets a roll up, but the challenger counters only to get dropped with the first 48 as Carmelo Hayes pick up the win to retain. The winner by pinfall is still your United States champion, Carmelo Hayes. This was a good match between Carmelo Hayes and Matt Cardona. Sportsmanship between the competitors as we cut to backstage for a segment advertising ESPN Unlimited while talking about the box that is set to be open tomorrow night at the Elimination Chamber. We see Johnny Gargano being wheeled away on a road case, and this gives Kit Wilson an excuse to call the other men in the segment toxic. I'm so very tired, and there is still another hour or so left in the show. Everybody started laughing at Kit Wilson, but I don't know who's in the box. It's either Chris Jericho, and I heard somebody say it was DMD, Dr. Britt Baker, but that's not the case. But we'll see who's in the box tomorrow. Alright. Back at ringside, Johnny Gargano recurrently accompanies his wife, Candice LeRae, to the ring for our next match. She faces Jordan Grace, and that match is up next. Commercial break. We get another sneak peek of Royce Kings on What's Your Story with Stephanie McMahon. Back at ringside, Jordan Grace makes her entrance as we see Johnny Gargano laying into the announcer table before this match gets underway. So we get Candice LeRae versus Jordan Grace. I did not really care about this match. This match was god awful. Jordan Grace quickly works off Candice LeRae at first, taking her down for a near fall. But Candice LeRae fights back with a step up senton onto her back, allowing her to get a 2 count of her own. She stomps away at Jordan Grace before clinching in a chinlock. Jordan Grace fights to her feet, dropping down for a near fall before the 2 trade pin attempts. Candice LeRae hits a knee to the face off Jordan Grace before going up top, but Jordan Grace intercepts her. She holds Candice LeRae up for a delayed vertical suplex off the middle turnbuckle and slams her a second time for good measure, but it's only good for 2. Candice LeRae breaks free from a pump handle slam, landing a kick from the ropes as she sees Johnny Gargano sitting up at the announcer desk. She takes Jordan Grace down before trying to talk to Johnny Gargano, who starts slowly walking away before Johnny Grace takes her to the mat with a pump handle German suplex for a near fall. The winner of the match, Jordan Grace. This match was god awful between Jordan Grace and Candice LeRae. But I know that Johnny Gargano is feeling sad because Tommaso Ciampa left the WWE to be with the AEW. Soon as Johnny Gargano's contract gets expired by WWE, send Johnny Gargano to AEW to join Tommaso Ciampa. And that's all I gotta say. You can take Candice LeRae with you. That's all I gotta say. We head backstage as Raquel Rodriguez addressing going into the Elimination Chamber tomorrow night. She is interrupted by Jade Cargill, running her down before the champ herself is interrupted by Mitch and the B-Fab. There is about another hour left in this show as we head to commercial break. Alright. We look back at the tribute to AJ Styles on Raw. culminating in the announcement that the Phenomenal One is joining the 2026 class of the WWE Hall of Fame. So congratulations to AJ Styles for joining the Hall of Fame. Backstage, Cody Rhodes wishes Jacob Fatu the best of luck as he hopes he gets into the chamber tomorrow. Sami Zayn shows up and he is less thrilled as he considered the possibility that Jacob Fatu was the one who attacked Jey Uso. Jacob Fatu tells Sami Zayn to be very careful with what he says next. As Sami Zayn backs off this point, wishing Jacob Fatu luck on the match as Jacob Fatu walks away. Sami Zayn is shaken by the whole affair as we head back to ringside for our next match. Now I know that Sami Zayn was crashing out backstage, so Sami Zayn is the next crash out Jey Uso, and that's all I gotta say. But I know that Sami Zayn somehow is gonna turn heel. But I know that Sami Zayn is the next crash out Jey Uso, and that's all I gotta say. Then the Irresistible Force made their entrance, ready to challenge for the Women's Tag Team Championships as Real makes their way out next. We get ring entrance for the challengers and the champions to get this match on the way. So we get the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defense against the Irresistible Force, Nia Jax, and Lash. And this was a very good tag team match. Io Sky and Lash starts things off with Io Sky keeping Lash away enough to make the tag to Rhea Ripley. Double team allows the champion to get a near fall, but Lash fights back with a kick before tagging in Nia Jax. Rhea Ripley fans her off in the corner before Io Sky jumps in, sending her out of the ring before setting up Lash Legend for a drop kick by Rhea Ripley. She walks away before the champ goes back after the challengers, who catches Rio in the air to slam them against the barricade as we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Io Sky fights off Lash Legend in the ring before taking a boot that gets Lash Legend a 2 count. Lash Legend sends Io Sky to the ropes, distracting the referee as Nia Jax gets a cheap shot in. Lash Legend takes advantage of this for the cover, but only gets a near fall. Io Sky fights back for the corner and for a kick to the head, and both women are down as the crowd tried to wheel Io Sky back into it. Tag made to Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax is in as well as the two go at it. Rhea Ripley fights out of the Samoa drop, attempt for some chops, followed by a head scissors takedown. She has to fight off Lash Legend, and this allows for a cheap shot by Nia Jax, only for Rhea Ripley to fight back with a missile drop kick from the corner for a 2 count. Io Sky looks for a tag, but is taken off the apron, and the distraction allows Nia Jax to hit a Samoan drop on Rhea Ripley. She brings Rhea Ripley towards the corner as she goes up for an annihilator, but Rhea Ripley is back on her feet as she sets up for a powerbomb from the middle turnbuckle. She starts Nia Jax up, but only get a 2 count. Nia Jax leaves the ring as they change the game for Rhea Ripley as she goes for a senton off the apron that takes Nia Jax to the floor as we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Nia Jax takes Rhea Ripley down to the mat and then sends her to the outside before making a tag to Lash Legend, who slams Rhea Ripley against the ring post. Nia Jax continues the attack by landing a Samoa drop, sending Rhea Ripley onto the announcer desk, and then sends Rhea Ripley back into the ring, where Lash Legend gets a near fall. Big slam by Lash Legend before making a tag to Nia Jax, who lands a leg drop for the cover, but Io Sky breaks it up. She and Lash Legend go at it before they drop to the outside, leaving Nia Jax with Rhea Ripley in the corner, but Rhea Ripley dodges a shoulder charge, sending Nia Jax crashing into the ring post. They tag made to Io Sky as well as Lash Legend, and Io Sky lands a double stomp before sending Nia Jax to the corner with a shotgun drop kick. She nearly sends Lash Legend into Nia. and then gets hosted up and over, only to take Nia Jax down with the crossbody. She gets up top for a missile drop kick, only Lash firing the crowd up before landing a dive to Nia Jax on the outside. Running mirror on Lash in the corner, but Io Sky hits it over the moonsault cover for the cover, but over the cover, but before Nia Jax breaks it up just in time. Nia Jax climbs up for Annihilator on Io Sky, and Lash goes for the cover, but only to be pulled out of the ring by Rhea Ripley. Lash sends her into the ring steps before getting back in the ring, and Nia Jax gets dumped through the middle rope by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley with a tag, running into Lash before Nia Jax gets back in the ring, running into a riptide by Rhea Ripley. But this gives Lash the opening she needs, and she drops Rhea Ripley with the Lash extensions for the pin, and we have new champions. The winner by pinfall and your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Irresistible Force, Nia Jax and Lash. This was a good WWE tag team match. This was a good match. Good tag team match. Basically, what I was trying to say. The champs celebrate with power as we cut backstage, where Charlotte Flair insists to Alexa Bliss that she's fine seeing the new champs, with Alexa Bliss heading to the chamber match. This is interrupted by Kiana James and Julia, who addresses Kiana James being in that match as well. Jerry Cargill steps in, wishing the two luck before walking off. Elsewhere, Nick Aldis is confronted by the MFT, but this leads to Nick Aldis announcing that match next week to crown the new #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Champions. And speaking of that, where's the Street Profits at? Why is the Street Profits still sitting in catering? Can you please do something with the Street Profits? Please find something that the Street Profits needs to do. And that's all I gotta say. I'm tired of the Street Profits sitting in catering. And that's all I gotta say. Put the Street Profits back in the title picture. And that's all I gotta say. Up next is our main event, as Logan Paul and Jacob Fatu square off to see who gets the final spot in the men's elimination chamber tomorrow night. So we go to commercial break. We take a look back at the finish from the women's tag team match before heading backstage, where the new champs continue to celebrate Nia Jax's third tag title reign as Lash the first title in the WWE by announcing they will have a proper celebration next week. Video package: CM Punk's journey as champs brings him home to Chicago for Elimination Chamber, where he defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor tomorrow night. You already know that CM Punk's going to retain the World Heavyweight Championship to go on to WrestleMania to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42 in night 2, where Roman Reigns beats CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's happening tomorrow. It's happening at WrestleMania 42. That's all I gotta say. Backstage, Randy Orton is confronted by Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Aleister Black suggests that the Black Mass might have opening something up in him, but Randy Orton says he has a switch he can flip whenever he wants. Aleister Black better be careful what he says, as after he's done with the chamber, he's coming after Aleister Black next. All right. We head back to ringside for our main event, as Logan Paul is accompanied by the Vision to the ring. He faces Jacob Fatu for the right to enter the men's elimination chamber match tomorrow night, and that qualified match is coming up next. So we go to commercial break. WWE announces that WrestleMania 42 will start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for both nights, with night 1 airing simulcast on ESPN 2, and night 2 simulcast on ESPN. Excuse me. Back at ringside, Jacob Fatu makes his entrance to get this main event underway. So we get the main event of the evening, the men's elimination chamber qualifying match, Logan Paul versus Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu should have qualified for the men's elimination chamber match, but Drew McIntyre always sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. So it's going to be a triple threat match between Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes, and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 42. I can definitely see that. Logan Paul catches Jacob Fatu by surprise, sending him into the corner, but Jacob Fatu quickly fights back for a second time. He continues the attack by taking Logan Paul to the ropes, setting up for a clothesline that sends the Maverick out of the ring, and providing a landing zone for a dive before we go to picture-in-picture. Back from picture-in-picture, Jacob Fatu continues the attack until Logan Paul breaks free, slamming Jacob Fatu onto the ring steps. Jacob Fatu is able to regain control as he sends Logan Paul into the barricade, but Logan Paul dodges a hip attack at the last second. Jacob Fatu is down as Logan Paul slides into the ring, considering a countout when as he distracts the referee long enough for Austin Theory to get in a cheap shot. Austin Theory should have been banned from ringside. Logan Paul brings Jacob Fatu back into the ring for a cover, but only gets a 2 count. Jacob Fatu is back on his feet as he sends Logan Paul into the corner, but Logan Paul fights back as we return from commercial break. Logan Paul managed to dodge another charge from Jacob Fatu, dropping him into the mat for a near fall. He climbed up top for a fall splash, but Jacob Fatu rolls out of the way, dropping him with a super kick before landing a moonsault off the ropes for 2. Jacob Fatu goes up now, but is interrupted by Logan Paul, who looks for a superplex, but Jacob Fatu blocks it and fighting him off. Knees up on a swanton attempt, and Logan Paul hits a blockbuster on a springboard moonsault, but it's only for good for 2. Paralyzer is evaded and Jacob Fatu lands a super kick, taking him down. Austin Theory goes out to Jacob Fatu on the apron, but is fought off by a distraction from Paul Heyman, allows Logan Paul to land a low blow. False splash connects, but Jacob Fatu kicks out. At ringside, we see the masked man going after Austin Theory, but Logan Paul fends him off before pulling off the mask, and nobody knows who this guy is. Security rushes out to take the man out of ringside as Jacob Fatu lays out Logan Paul. But he gets intercepted on the ropes by Drew McIntyre, allowing Logan Paul to take him down with the titanium right hand for the win. The winner by pinfall and advancing to the men's elimination chamber, Logan Paul. Now, this main event match, it was okay for what it was, but Jacob Fatu should have qualified for the men's elimination chamber match. So once again, Drew McIntyre always sticking his nose where it doesn't belongs. Drew McIntyre should have stayed backstage. You know what I'm saying? The Vision should have been banned from ringside too as well. But anyway, the Vision regroups on the ramp to celebrate the win as SmackDown comes to an end. Alright, but let me read this quick results. Uncle Howdy defeated Soul Sikoa in a good match. Tiffany Stratton defeated Kairi Sane, decent match. Over Family defeated The Miz, thank God. The United States Championship Open Challenge, Carmelo Hayes defeated Matt Cardona in a good match. Jordan Grace defeated Candice LeRae, that match was god awful. WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match, the Irresistible Force, Nia Jax and Lash Legend defeated Rhea Ripley and Io Scott to become your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, that match was good. And the men's elimination champion match, qualifying match, Logan Paul defeated Jacob Fatu, and that main event match was okay for us, but Jacob Fatu should have qualified for the men's elimination champion match. And that's all I gotta say. But I know that Jacob Fatu is gonna get his get back on Drew McIntyre, and WWE Smackdown goes off the air. Alright, but let me give my honest opinion what I think about WWE Smackdown. Now, WWE Smackdown was a solid show, and I give that show a 6.5 out of 10. Now, you ask me this, am I excited for Elimination Chamber match tomorrow? No, I'm not. There's only 4 match cards on the Elimination Chamber. But Cody Rhodes is going to win the men's Elimination Chamber match tomorrow, I guarantee you. And then Rhea Ripley is going to win the women's Elimination Chamber match to go after Jade Cargill for the WWE for the women's WWE Championship. So Jade Cargill's title reign has been boring, and that's all I gotta say. But I do miss Bianca Belair, and that's all I gotta say from here. So I hope Bianca Belair will make a speedy recovery so she can return to face Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's WWE Women's Championship. So Bianca Belair, I hope Bianca Belair will come back, make a speedy recovery, go after Jade Cargill, and that's all I gotta say from here. And you already know Liv Morgan is going after Stephanie McCure, and that's all I gotta say. But what if Dominic Mysterio was to turn on Liv Morgan to be with Stephanie McCure, just like Dominic Mysterio turned on Rhea Ripley? Remember how Dominic Mysterio turned on Rhea Ripley and Rhea Ripley was mad about it? It can be the opposite way. What if Dominic Mysterio turns on Liv Morgan and be with Stephanie McCure? That way that Liv Morgan can be heartbroken. But we'll see. I just had to put that out there. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my WWE Smackdown review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning over towards the end. Give this video 30 likes so it goes to the YouTube algorithm. Follow all my social media down below in the description, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for my WWE Elimination Chamber review and highlights. And I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here, gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang. And I will see you guys on my upcoming world premiere for my WWE Smackdown review on highlights at around 5 o'clock a.m. right here on my YouTube channel. Stay too sweet. And I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.